Hi everybody, welcome along to Friday night's practice. You're all really welcome and it's great to have people along to the live practice, so thank you so much for joining me in this. Hope you enjoy what we're going to do tonight and hope you've all had a pleasant if somewhat unusual week. As always, throughout the practice, listen to your body. If there's anything that doesn't feel right or doesn't feel comfortable, don't do it. If you want to take a break at any time, just go into a child's pose or lie out flat, whatever is comfortable for you, and take a rest and then just come back and join us when you're ready. So let us get going. We'll start off lying down tonight. So coming flat onto the floor, you can have your knees bent if you want and your feet on the floor, whichever is more comfortable for you. And just closing the eyes. Let's begin to come into the present, into the now. Leaving everything that's going on in the world and in our lives outside the door. For the next hour, we are going to give ourselves permission to stay in the moment the entire time, connecting our mind with our body through our breath. And as we begin to make that inward journey, let's just start off by focusing on our toes. Just noticing how they feel. Do they all feel the same or different? Let's think about directing our breath towards our toes. So inhaling energy that moves all the way through our body to our toes. And exhaling softness. And let's move our attention to our ankles. Just noticing our ankles, spending a little time here. Zooming in on them. And moving on up to our knees, focusing on our knees. Noticing how they feel, if there's a little tension or tightness there, think about directing our breath into that area. Inhaling energy into our knees, exhaling softness. Continuing that journey upward, let's turn our focus to our hips. Again, just spending a little time here, noticing how they feel. Do they both feel the same? Are they a little different? Moving that focus now to the base of our spine. Breathing into our spine. And moving the focus to our belly button area, center of our tummy. continuing that upward journey to our sternum. Feeling it as it expands and contracts with our breath. The gentle rise and fall. And moving that attention up to that hole just at the bottom of our throat, just above our collarbones. And drifting on upwards to just between the eyebrows. Inhaling our energy here, exhaling softness. And keeping that focus on the breath, breathing in through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. Soft rhythm, just witnessing our breath breathe us. And let's all come to bend our knees and put our feet onto the floor. And we're going to raise our arms up and bring them over our head all the way behind us. And back down by our sides. And again, raising them up all the way behind us. And bringing them all the way down. And my helpful director, producer, cameraman, husband tells me we've got Tina from Brussels has joined us. Welcome, Tina. I hope you enjoy today's session. And Sharon from Nace joining us with Nuala from Culpeper. And of course, Maria from Blackrock. So you're all really welcome. And Fanula from Greystones. From here, let's just bring bending our knees and hug our knees into our chest. And then let's just begin to take a little roll from side to side. And you can keep this very gentle if you want, or if you'd like a little bit more, you can come all the way over onto your side and rolling back to the center, rolling all the way over to the right side and back to the center. And once again to the left side and center and right side and center. And coming back to stillness, let's take that now going backwards and forwards. So just rolling back and forth, a lovely nice roll down the spine and coming up to sitting and rolling back down and up and down at your own pace. Just giving a nice little massage to the spine. Let's take 3 more of these. And coming back down onto the floor, keeping that back nice and long on the floor. Let's bring the feet down once more. And we're going to raise up the right foot and just circle that leg. So the leg is nice and straight, just drawing big circles with it. The bigger you can make the circle, the better. And bringing it back to put the foot on the floor. Let's take the left leg straight up and let's begin to draw big circles with that leg. And taking it in the opposite direction. And bringing it to stillness. Good, and hugging those knees into the chest again. And you've got a choice here. We're going to come up to standing. So you can come up by rocking back and forth once again. Or if you like, you can roll onto your side and meet us up at the top of the mat. So from here, let's stand up nice and tall, having the feet just hip distance apart, pushing that big toe into the ground so the arches of your feet are lifting up, engaging those quads, engaging the core. Let's make this a nice, strong pose, opening out the palms to face frontwards, keeping the shoulders soft. Let's take 3 breaths here. Nice deep breaths, breathing in through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. And bringing the hands onto the hips, we're just going to move the right leg out to the side, to the back, to the side, and back to its place. And let's do the same with the left leg, moving it out to the side, to the back, to the side, and back to center. Let's try that one more time on both sides, out to the side, to the back, to the side, and back to the center, and to the side with the left leg, and back, and side, and back to the center. And taking both hands, let's just clasp them together and reach them up over our head. And we're going to take a gentle bend towards the left. So really starting to open out that right rib cage. Think about directing your breath into the right rib cage. Let's hold this here for another 2 breaths. Remembering on the inhale to find that length in the spine, and on the exhale, try and go a little deeper. Coming back up to center, let's take it over to the other side. Breathing in to that nice space in the rib cage. Good, let's take 2 more breaths. Finding that space in the spine to go a little taller and then a little deeper. And coming back to center, let's open the arms out. We're going to swan dive all the way down to the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to here to reach the floor. And let's come all the way up again. Good, bringing the hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Bringing the arms up, opening them out wide. Let's dive down. Allow the arms to cross as we come down and open them out wide as we come back up. And to center one more time, reaching the arms up, opening them out wide. Coming forward and bringing them out. And let's add a little bit more into it. So opening the arms out as we dive down and then coming to halfway lift. So we've got a nice straight spine. Let me turn sideways so you can see. Nice straight spine with keeping the gaze facing downwards, and come into forward fold again and open the arms out and all the way up and back down to heart center. One more time, raising the arms up, opening them out as we swan dive down, coming back up into our halfway lift. Nice straight spine, gaze to the floor, and allowing the arms to come down as we open them and come all the way up, bringing the hands down to heart center. And let's just take these hands and hold them behind our back, so we're clasping them like this. And we're going to reach the arms back so we get a nice shoulder stretch. And if you like, you can begin to raise your gaze upward to give a little bit more bend. Breathing into it here. Let's take one more breath. And come all the way up. And then we're going to take the left arm, put it over our back. So you want your elbow to come straight up past your ear if you can. And if you're able to reach with your hand, your opposite hand, the right hand, to grasp it, great. If you can't reach, that's no problem at all. This hand can be down here. So it doesn't have to reach, but if you are able to reach it, do. And think about finding that little stretch in the upper arm and the shoulder. We're going to keep this here for another 2 breaths. Good, and releasing that, let's just take it over to the other side. So that right arm going up over the head, reaching down between the shoulder blades here, the left hand coming up to meet it, if it can. And taking one more breath here. And releasing it out, and you can just roll those shoulders and wobble the knees. And then we're going to, from the top of the mat, clasping the hands together, lifting it up above your head, we are just going to step that right leg back. So the legs are crossed over and looking up and back. And let's come up to straight and take that over to the other side. So the left leg goes behind the right leg. So they're in a kind of an X and reaching back. We're like magnificent ballerinas in our mind anyway. And coming all the way back. And let's let those arms sweep out as we come forward into a nice forward fold. We're going to hang around down here for a couple of breaths. So remembering as you inhale to find that length in the spine, and as you exhale, see, can you get a little bit deeper? Can your chest get a little bit closer to your thighs? Don't worry about where your head is. It's your chest that you want to be getting into your thighs. You can have your knees bent as much as you need to here. One more breath. And let's come all the way up. And from here, with the arms straight up in the air, we're going to come into a forward fold. And a halfway lift. And a forward fold, bending those knees. Let's come all the way up, reaching up really tall and back down into a forward fold.
And halfway lift. Forward fold, and bend those knees to come all the way up. From here, just move your feet together so your toes are touching and your heels are just a little bit apart. And we're going to sit back into a chair. Keeping the arms up. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Remembering as you exhale, just try to engage the core a little by lifting the pelvic floor, bringing the belly button in and up. And allow the arms now to come back behind you, staying in your chair. Arms behind you. Remembering to engage that core on the exhale. And bringing your hands onto your hip, keeping the left leg bent. We're going to lift the right leg up and see, can we rest it on the left leg just for a breath or two. Find a gaze point. Keep your focus soft and allowing it to come down. Let's see, can we move that onto the other side? So keeping the right knee bent, lifting the left leg up, crossing it over. Keeping a nice soft gaze. Can you hold it for 1 more breath? And coming all the way down, keeping those knees bent, keeping in that seat. Let's bring the left hand even, left arm up. And with the right arm, we're going to just wrap it around underneath. And think about lifting the elbows up away from the chest and the palms away from the forehead. If you can't get that twist, that's no problem. Even go like this. So whatever is comfortable for you. Let's hold this for 1 more breath. And let's swap it over to the other side. So that's your right arm comes into the center and your left arm wraps underneath it, lifting those elbows away from the chest, palms away from the forehead. 2 more breaths here. And unraveling the arms, let's bring the right hand down onto the floor and raise that left arm up. So we're getting a nice little twist. Two more breaths here. Remembering as you're inhaling, finding that length as you exhale. Trying for a little millimeter more. And let's take that over to the other side. Left hand comes to the floor, right hand reaches up to the sky, turning your gaze towards the wall behind you, or if you want, up towards the raised hand. 2 more breaths here. And bringing it back down, bending those knees. Let's come all the way up. And from here, keeping those toes together, let's raise the arms up, clasping the hands. Let's take it over to the left for a breath. And over to the right for a breath. And taking a gentle back bend, raising the gaze for a breath. And coming forward into a forward fold for a breath. Have your knees bent as much as they want to. Placing the right hand on the ground, let's raise that left hand for a breath. And let's switch it over And raise the right hand for a breath. And bringing both hands down, bending those knees. Let's come up into our chair for a breath. And bring the arms behind us for a breath. And let's stand up and open those arms out. Let's run through that one more time. Raising the arms up, clasping them together for a breath. Taking a nice bend over to the left. And coming through center to take the bend over to the right. Coming back to center, raising the gaze to the ceiling. And coming forward into a nice forward fold. Raising up the left arm for a breath. And then switching it over to the right arm. Bringing both hands back to the floor. Sitting back to come up into your chair. And bringing both hands behind you. And let's come up to standing, opening those palms out. Good. Bringing the hands onto the hips. Let's just turn that right foot out and raise it up onto the calf for a little bit of tree. Finding a gaze point, holding it softly, bringing your hands into prayer. And if anyone has anything I could throw at Alan now, that would be really welcome, as he's standing there wobbling, trying to make me fall over, and reaching the arms up, you see. I can't do it when I laugh. And opening them out. Good. Let's take 2 breaths here. And bringing it all back down, putting the hands onto the hips. Let's take it over to the other side. And I believe Cindy is joining us from St. Louis. Hi, Cindy. And lifting that left foot up onto your calf, finding balance, bringing the hands into prayer, raising them up over your head and opening them out. Keeping that focus nice and soft. Think about lifting up through that inside thigh to find stillness, pushing the left foot into the right calf and the calf into, and coming back up to the top of the mat. Let's raise the arms up and come forward into a forward fold, and from here let's just step back into a nice downward dog. So keeping your hips pushed back. You can keep your knees bent and your heels up off the floor if you want. If you want to try and get a little bit more, you can begin to just pedal those feet out. And as your hamstrings and calves become a little looser, you can begin to come to stillness wherever that stillness is for you. Now let's take 2 more breaths here. Trying to keep your ears in line with your arms. Now let's reach that right leg up in the air, keeping it up there. And bringing it back down onto the floor. Let's lift the left leg up in the air, stretching it up. Keeping the toes flexed, pointing towards the floor. And bringing it back beside the right foot. Let's once again lift the right foot up. We're going to bring it to between our hands, whatever way is most comfortable for you to do that. So you can step it forward, or if you want to come through from all fours, do that. But let's meet with our right foot in front, knee bent, knee over ankle, left knee on the floor, and foot out. Good. And we want to be feeling this in our quad of our left foot, so, or our left leg. So if you can inch your knee back another millimeter, do. And just raise the hands up onto your right leg to begin to feel a little bit more of a stretch in that quad. If you're feeling tightness, think about directing your breath into that area. One more breath here. And let's bring the hands down either side of the foot, curling the back toe. We're going to come up like we're about to run, sprint the 100 meters. So you lift that knee up off the floor, keeping the back heel up. Good. One more breath here. And allowing that left knee to come to the floor. We're going to bring our right hand to the inside of our right leg and walk that right foot out to the edge of the mat if you have one, or towel, or just walk it a little bit away from you. And from here you've got a choice, so you can stay like this, or you can come down onto your forearms. If you can just come onto one forearm, that's absolutely fine, wherever your body is comfortable with you going. If you'd like, and it's okay for this foot to tip up, you see there? So it's okay to have it tipped up there, that's fine. If you'd like a little bit more challenge, you can lift your knee of your left foot up off the floor. And if a bind is in your practice, you can come into your bind here. That's where your right hand goes inside your right leg, and your left hand goes behind you. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And unfurling if you were in a bind, drop the knee to the floor. If it was up, open out the feet. And let's just stretch it out by coming down onto the floor and lying out full with our arms stretched out. Taking 3 more breaths here. And let's push up onto all fours. And curling those toes, let's push back up into our dog. And lifting the left leg up, keeping that left foot pointing down towards the ground, flexed. And stepping it through whatever way works for you. And dropping that right knee onto the floor. Open out the back foot. And coming up to put your hands on your left leg. If you can inch this leg back a little bit, do, to find a bit more of a stretch in that quad. Taking 3 more breaths here. Remembering anywhere that there's any kind of tightness or tension, think about directing that breath into that area. And bringing the hands down either side of the foot, curling that back toe, lifting the knee to come into a nice low runner's lunge. Just 2 more breaths here. Try not to have your chest or your belly resting on this leg if you can help it. Depends on how long your arms are and how short your legs are. And dropping that back knee, walk that left foot out to the edge and bringing both hands inside the left foot. Let's come down as low as we can go here. If you can come onto your forearms fully, do. And again, if you want a little bit more, you can bring that back leg up, lifting the knee up off the floor. And if you want to do a full bind, you push this arm through your leg and hold the arm behind. One more breath here. And if you were in a bind, you can unfurl, come up off the floor, drop that back knee down and bring the left knee to face it and come down onto the floor for another nice long stretch out. Taking 2 more breaths here. Now let's push back up onto our tabletop. And curling those toes, let's push the hips back and come up into our dog. And let's just walk the feet forward to meet the hands and come all the way up to the top of the mat, raising the arms up. And let's run through a couple of sun salutes. So if you know them, go your own pace. If you're not familiar with it, follow me. Raising the arms up nice and tall. Let's come forward into a forward fold, bending those knees as much as you need to. And a halfway lift. And forward fold. Let's step that right leg back, dropping the knee, open out the foot, and rising up. Hands down either side of the foot. Let's step back into a plank. Taking a round of breath here, having a little micro bend in those elbows. And bringing the knees to the floor, open out the feet. Chest down and roll through into a little cobra, keeping your gaze on the floor or the mat in front of you, elbows in. And pushing up onto all fours into your tabletop and curling those back toes. Let's come up into our downward dog. Raising up that right leg, looking between the hands. Let's step that right leg forward and drop the back knee, open out the foot, and rise up, lifting the gaze as you do. Hands down either side of the foot, stepping the back foot up to meet the front, bend those knees and come all the way up to the top. And bringing the hands down to heart center. Let's go again. reaching up tall as we inhale and exhale as we forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, and exhaling, forward fold. Let's step the left leg back, dropping that back knee. Inhaling as we raise the upper body up with a gaze. And exhale, hands down, either side of the foot, stepping back into your plank. Taking a round of breath here. And on our next exhale, bringing the knees to the floor, open out the feet, chest down, and rolling through into your cobra. And on your next inhale, coming up into your tabletop, curling those toes, pushing the hips back with the exhale, and inhale up into your downward dog. Lifting up that left leg, looking between the hands, let's step it forward, dropping the right knee, open out the foot, and bring the upper body up. Hands down, either side of the foot, stepping the back foot up to meet the front, and coming all the way up. Good. And from here, keeping your hands on your hips to start with, we are going to just step our right leg straight back. So your feet are hip distance apart. Step that right leg back. It doesn't have to go back too far. We're going to keep this front leg straight if we can, and clasp the hands behind your back as we start to bend forward towards the knee of that front leg. If you need to bend that front knee, please do, and you can raise those arms up behind you. So you should be feeling a nice stretch in that left hamstring. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And bringing the hands down, bending that front knee. Let's come all the way up and step that right leg up to meet the left. Putting your hands on your hips again. We're going to step this left leg back. Again, like it's on a railway track, it just goes straight back. Straighten that front knee if you can. Clasping those hands behind your back. And let's reach forward with the chest. So coming forward into your forward fold, allowing those hands to come up away from your back. Breathing into the stretch. And bending the front knee to lift your body up. Good, and coming on to the long side of your mat, opening your feet out, allowing the seat to come down. Hands on just above your knees, trying to keep those knees out because they'll want to fall in. And let's just take a little twist. So taking the right shoulder towards that left knee. And 3 more breaths here. Just 1 more. And let's take it over to the other side. So left shoulder coming towards that right knee. And 1 more breath. And coming back to center, let's just turn those heels out so your feet are now in a straight line. Walk them out as wide as is comfortable. And we'll come forward into a nice forward fold here with our legs nice and wide. You can take them as wide as you want. You should begin to feel this on the insides of your thighs. If you can bring that head towards the floor, do. And think about moving back, trying to get your body towards the back of the room, almost like you're trying to go through your legs. Let's keep this here for 3 more breaths. And then taking the arms and clasping them behind your back, raising them up to give you just that little extra bit of a stretch. Breathing into it. Remembering to still engage the core. On that exhale, thinking about lifting the pelvic floor, bring that belly button in and up. And releasing the arms. And bringing the hands to the floor, heel toe, the feet together, and we're going to meet down on all fours in tabletop. Opening those fingers out nice and wide, keeping a little micro bend in the elbows. The fronts of your elbows? Is that the front of your elbow? I'm not sure. Should be facing each other. Having those knees coming straight down from your hips and feet straight out behind you. Let's do a couple of cat-cows just to give nice relief to the spine. So rounding through from your tailbone all the way through the spine to the crown of your head. And then tilting that pelvis. Opening the chest and raising the gaze. And on your next exhale, rounding through into your cat. And as you inhale, waving through the spine in the opposite direction for your cow. Moving with your breath at your pace. Just allowing the spine to move gently between those 2 opposites. Let's meet back in neutral spine. And from here with the right foot, stretching it back, keeping the foot on the floor for now, pushing out through the heel of that foot. And then lift the leg up so it's hip level, hip height, up off the floor. And let's lift the left arm out and stretch it out. Let's feel that nice long stretch across the diagonal of our body from the tips of our left fingers all the way to our right heel. Thinking about keeping that core engaged to help you stay steady. Gaze should be on the mat in front of you at the floor. And bringing that left hand back down and the right hand down with complete control. Let's take it over to the other side. So stretching the left leg out, pushing out through the heel, lifting that foot up to hip height. Let's allow the right hand to stretch out so we've got that nice diagonal stretch on the other side. Thinking about our core being the center of this, holding it all together. And one more breath here. And bringing that right hand down and the left leg down. And let's just raise that left hand up in the air. And bring it back down onto the mat. And we'll raise the right hand up in the air. And bringing it down onto the mat. And if you'd like a really nice quad stretch, let's just lift up that left leg, keeping the knee bent. And with our right hand, reach towards that left foot or ankle, if you can. And you can begin to lift it up a little bit. Really good. If you have difficulty reaching this, you can always do it with a belt wrapped around your ankle and hold on to the end of the belt. And one more breath here. And slowly bringing it all down to earth, let's switch it over to the other side. So lifting up that right leg, bending the knee, and holding on to the ankle with the left hand as we raise it up. Keeping that gaze on the floor in front of you. Breathing into that quad or anywhere you feel tightness in this stretch. And allowing it all to come back down and push back into your child's pose, either with your arms stretched out nice and long or down by your sides. Taking 3 more breaths here. And let's come up. And you can grab a book or a block or just sit on the floor, whatever works for you or is available to you. But let's meet sitting cross-legged on the floor. And just taking note of which leg is in front, because I always forget to do that. And think about sitting up tall, so you've got equal weight on both seat bones, your shoulders above your hips. As we inhale, finding that length in our spine. And let's take the hands together in prayer and clasp them together from here, reaching them out in front of us so our shoulders round over, and then lifting the arms up nice and slowly so they're all the way over our head. Unclasping them, bringing them down so they come behind us and around to meet back at the center. Let's do that again. Clasping those hands, pushing them out away from you so your shoulders have a nice front stretch, then reaching them up tall, opening them out away from each other and behind you, and coming back to the center one more time, clasping those fingers around, reaching out in front, coming all the way up, unclasping the hands to open them out to the side and behind, and meet back at the center. And just allowing this right hand to fall onto the floor. Let's just open that left hand up, and let's just keep opening it, following it with our gaze and our chest. And when we reach its furthest extension, let's just rest here. And coming back to center, let's take that over to the other side, but let's change our legs over. So just swap so the opposite leg is in front. And keeping your left hand onto your left leg, let's just stretch that right arm around and follow it with our gaze to its furthest most point. And bringing it back. Let's just bring those hands to the center again, clasping them, reaching them out in front of us as we raise it up and open it out, bringing it back and coming back to center one last time, clasping those hands together, reaching it out in front of you, coming all the way up and all the way back, and bringing it back to center and coming up off the block. You can just put it to one side and swing yourself around to lie down. Keeping those knees bent. While we're here, let's just raise those arms straight up over our head so we can feel our shoulders snuggle into the floor, and then let the arms come down. Allowing those knees to fall over to the left, opening the arms out and turning our gaze to the right. And taking one more breath here. And let's come through center, bringing it over to the other side. And coming back through center, making ourselves comfortable. Get yourself a blankie if you want. Ideally lying straight out, legs straight, palms facing upwards. Before we get into our relaxation, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the class. I love to hear your feedback, so please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to do. I'll be back live on Monday at 6 o'clock. Tell all your friends. And if you know of anyone cocooning, any seniors or people with mobility issues, I have some really gentle chair practices up on the website, lockdownyoga.ie. So feel free to share that with anybody that you think may benefit from it. So let's just allow our body to absorb all of that work it's just done, to go deep into the muscles as we begin to really let go. Letting go at that point between our eyebrows. Letting go at that hollow of the throat. Letting go at our sternum. Letting go at our belly button. Letting go at the base of our spine. Letting go our hips. Letting go our knees. letting go our ankles, letting go our toes, letting go our shoulders, letting go our elbows, letting go our wrists, letting go our fingers. Taking a moment here of gratitude to our bodies, to ourselves, and to each other. And of course, to all of our frontline workers, and for everything we have to be grateful for today. And tracing that gentle wave of the breath as we inhale through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. Connecting with our inner self. And imagine that we're walking on a beach. The feel of the sand on our feet. The sounds, the smells, the warmth of the sun on our back. Find a place here to stop and rest and enjoy this time with yourself.